the little track that could. This circuit is an icon of sim racing everywhere. There was a time where this circuit was the first circuit that you would set your eyes on and say, this is the pinnacle of racing. In essence, this was the first track to bring rain into racing sims out there in the world. This is the circuit of circuits, and this circuit is everything. Welcome to Tsukuba, and welcome to your RTA Virtual Motorsport GT86 or GR86 series, as it is here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are around the world watching coverage here of what is starting to gear up to be a really interesting championship picture. My name's Jake Sperry, and alongside me in the commentary booth is Craig King. Joe Peak on the cameras provided by Dougie Beard. But the 2K layout, 2.04 kilometers, and to be perfectly frank here, Craig, a track which means everything in terms of racing. It's a 9-turn circuit here in Shimotsuma, Japan. It is the circuit of circuits to cut your teeth, to get an understanding of what racing is all about.
Yeah, this is where you go for learning how to drive, especially on an oval, and as well as to do time trials. Fun fact, a Toyota 86 souped up has the lap record in time trials here. But these are the little brothers here, and this is the thing that's going to be crucial. Learn how to drive a car around here. You can learn how to drive around a car anywhere. A lot of cambered corners here, an uprise into turn one. That's going to be tough for braking, especially on that long start finish straight. Back straight onto after turn 8 is going to be tough because, again, more camber. The key here is to keep it smooth and set yourself up for overtakes. Again, like I said, start finish straight or going into turn 9. It's going to be a very tight track. Jake, we do see side-by-sides. We may see side-by-sides in unconventional places tonight, such as the nature of these cars.
Such is the nature indeed. If this circuit had itself, for example, the other circuits in Japan like Suzuka and Fuji would be Beyonce and Jay-Z. This track would be the Arctic Monkeys. It is out there, it is a little bit different, and it's one which I'm sure a number of drivers have the opportunity to love. This has been a really, really interesting championship picture as we've been searching through to get things going. Rory O'Shea, for the first time, takes the championship lead and takes it by not very much, just the 12 points at the moment. The drop round not yet implemented, with Peter McCann in second and Evan Walsh in third position. Sean McGoldrick is still holding on to championship hopes. He's in fourth, and with Jordan Kelly in fifth place, nobody is safe in the championship picture. Ian May is in sixth, with Robert Moore just behind him in seventh. A 5-point gap back then to eighth, where John McDonald finds himself in the Potato Nation car. M. Jamal Gandor for Simsa Esports, one of the main players of bringing that team to life. He's in ninth, with Adam Dowling rounding out the top 10 overall. And Craig, as we head over towards qualifying, 3.5 minutes remain around here. These laps will go quickly, which means there'll be a lot of chances to string the perfect lap together.
Yeah, you've got to string the perfect lap. A lot of them have been doing a lot of pack racing out there, and you can actually see how close it is when you come to the times. We'll get into that very shortly, because if you have never been here before for the racing, here's how we go. It's going to be a qualifying right now. That sets the grid for the first race. This, the 25-minute race, will be the final race of the night, but the first race will be 15 minutes long. That sets the grid for the 10-minute, what we called a super sprint last week, and then the top 8 gets reversed for that feature race. 20 minutes, there you go. I don't know if you like that name. We called it a super sprint, that race too. I think it will suit very well on other tracks, but for here, that's going to be the equivalent of 11 laps around here.
So what you're saying is we've got a sprint, a super sprint, and a feature. So how super can it get? And I'm sure we're here in qualifying seeing that. There is Ronan Doherty looking to charge in the all-Irish green car over towards the line out there. 102.3, his best at the moment. But this is all about carrying speed, this circuit. So many, Craig, parabolic hairpins around this track. Ishii, turn 1. Then here at Sheep, turn 4, and then you head all the way over to turn number 8, which is Hachi. That is going to be, oh, sorry, no, that's Roku, turn 8. That is also going to be a corner to keep in mind. And then you get to turn 9, Q. This, a long right-hander, which is going to be torture to those outside tyres.
Going to be torture with those outside tyres. Peter McCann comes across, he improves, and he's got time for one more lap. I do love how they've got that run off that apron just on the side there for drivers to really throw it wide on the exit there of the final corner. And that's, you can see Peter McCann didn't want to use that, but other drivers will be using that during the race.
Yeah, and they are going to be using as much of the road as they can, because they are going to try and open up every corner. They do have to worry about those instant limits, though, because that is basically what's going to keep them in the back of their minds. 15 instant points is a drive-through penalty. Disqualification comes along at 20. You can't afford to play the argy-bargy game around this track. And very unique in its style, the fact that you've got the 1,000 and 2,000 layouts pretty much next to each other. Has that Abisu style feel to it, Craig. And of course this, the car, which is the descendant of the ultimate drifting machine, of course the Truno AE86.
Yeah, I believe they actually used drifting around here as well, but Peter McCann not going to get a better lap time. No, I take it back, he does get a better lap time. Just beating out John McDonald there by 1,000th of a second. Ian May here, we're on board with Ian May. Just look at this as he starts to come down. This is that little weight for 7 into 8. Look at the camber. You want to throw it in, keep it nice and smooth. Get on the throttle. Very nice there. He's got the leaders up ahead as Jordan Kelly's got his last lap. 13 seconds. I think he might just get in.
Well, they've got to get to the checker flag before it drops. Otherwise, it's trouble, because we'll immediately head to grid afterwards. 4, 3, 2, get the power on. He's out of time. He's not going to get there in time, and the lap will not count. So this is going to be how the grid stacks up then. For race 1, it's Jordan Kelly who's got the pole position, with Ronan Doherty alongside on the front row. Sean McGoldrick will go from 3rd position, and alongside will be Rory O'Shea, the championship leader. In 5th will be Dylan McClements. Peter McCann, who's the former championship leader, starts in 6th, with John McDonald matching his number. He goes 7th, and Evan Walsh in 8th place. Sean Hegarty starts 9th, and it's Robert Moore who rounds out the top 10, Craig.
Quickly get to the last 5 cars, because Lawrence Sosa is back and he's in 11th. Chan Wing Fei will be 12th. Adam Dowling 13th. Ian May 14th. And Tony Stack will be 15th.
All of these drivers split by 9/10 of a second in qualifying. It was a close affair between everybody here. It means there's not going to be many places where you can break away, and every driver looks like they're going to have a chance today to show what they are made of. They're getting late onto the grid is the number 6 of Sean Hegarty in the father Ted car, looking to try and get himself ready to go. But this is all about getting the first 15 minutes right. It's a long road if your first race of the night goes incorrectly, because everybody else then starts to worry around you, and you've got a lot of work to do to get back through. Just Tony Stack to wait for. He will make everybody wait. 30 seconds left until the gridding procedure starts automatically. They get 2 minutes here in iRacing, and the big key is going to be who makes that run up the hill towards turn number 1. That is going to be the key. Ichi is the key, and they all know it, because that is the first diving opportunity. Not a long run here with everybody on the grid. Let's put 15 minutes on the clock. Let's get everybody ready. Lights on, lights out. Let's get going. And it is Jordan Kelly who bogs down a little bit off of the start, and it brings Ronan Doherty alongside, side by side as well, between McGoldrick and O'Shea in second row. O'Shea trying to go around the outside. He gets shuffled out of the way, and through will sneak Rory O'Shea with a great start, but he's not got the overlap he wants, because he now heads himself over to turn 4 out on circuit, where you can be aggressive and send it straight back, and that's going to work for Jordan Kelly. He maintains second place.
And not a good start for Jordan Kelly. He's able to try and capitalize on making a position back, but he has to find the way through on Ronan Doherty. He is very good at getting his position back, but for a third week in a row, we have seen a bad start by Jordan Kelly. To the inside he goes at turn 8.
Look at that, just attacking off for the exit. The Formula 4 driver is showing that real-world prowess, but power as they cross the beams. It is all about defense at this moment. Tony Stacks had a moment. He's there in the back now, down 9 seconds. But now into turn 9, Q corner. A big wiggle going through the middle of it. That's going to open it up, and everybody's now looking to try and defend. Doherty is fully on the defensive track at this moment. Jordan Kelly is finding out what makes it difficult as he now tries to find a way through. And there's dramas in the background there. It looks like it's a spin there. It looks like maybe Robert Moore's got himself just about away from it, but it is McCann and Walsh, and that's big for the driver second in the championship, Peter McCann.
Peter McCann did not get a point finish in the last race last week, and he's going to be down yet again. A little bit of a slide just cost him there going out of turn 1.
Well, here's the thing. It's bunching up for the lead. So there's the Concertina. And the big lunge to the inside from Walsh there. That's clumsy trying to dive through at that stage. Yes, you've got to make moves early, Craig, but you have to use that with context.
Yeah, you have to have. It takes 2 to tango, and you've got to be with your dance partner there. It's going to be tough. Right now, Ronan Doherty is on the defense. Last time he hit the curb and had a squirrel when he came out of that final corner. He's kept it smooth this time, but once again, he's having to be on defense. Everyone's starting to bunch up.
And again, around the outside, tries Jordan Kelly. This time it won't work, and he's just being pretty much bottled up at this point. Straight's not long enough until you reach the back straight here, which funnily enough leads between turns 8 and 9. But look at how you have to attack off of the exit. You really have to be committed to making these moves under the Dunlop Bridge then here, around this section of track, in through Hachi at turn 6, heading towards Roku corner as he goes through. In fact, the other way around, Roku into Hachi, 6 into 8. And now look at the attack off of the exit then from Jordan Kelly. He's got a really good opportunity now at the long turn 9 to make it happen. And this is what this circuit brings. It brings time to find these overtakes, and that's why it's so revered.
It's fantastic, but hold on 1 second, because Doherty had a better run and he almost just get caught into the back of Kelly there, and having to go on the defense now is Kelly. And now, hello, Rory O'Shea, he now senses this could be the cork in the bottle. He's looking out for Ronan Doherty.
Sean Hegarty with the fastest lap then of the race in 11th position, shows you how bottled up everyone has been over the course of these opening laps as they rush in through turn 4 and look to now drive over towards the 90-degree right here of turn 5. Transfer corners, these two, 5 into 6. It's all about getting the most you can out of 5 that leaves you the straightest possible line through turn 6 to get that done. That's what gives you the gap, and Ronan Doherty is not going to take no for an answer. He is going to keep on piling the pressure on Jordan Kelly.
But he needs to get a good run out of turn 8, and he cannot get that. It's a similar run he needs of what Kelly did. And now he's having to hedge his bets on trying to get a cleaner final corner to set himself up here. Look at the difference and how wide they go. They're all taking as wide as they can, but even still, as a small wiggle there to even think about a dummy is not working for Doherty.
Yeah, there's also moves going on a bit further back. Ian May has his eyes on Sean Hegarty for position in the race going on now for 10th and 11th. There is Ian May, who has lost the position, and the father Ted car just in front has pretty much done everything perfect there to hold on to that position. There is the classic Truno AE86 design by Chan Wing Fei, driving that out in the moment. Of course, the Toyota Corolla AE86, as it was, otherwise known as the Truno Sprinter, was offered the car that goes through. This, the spiritual successor car that goes through, absolutely beautiful to drive, and is one of those cars which you look around Asia, you look around Australasia, you look around Americas, this is the closed wheel car that pretty much sets up everybody.
This is the car that you would buy. This is also the car that some cheap people will go to look for tuning and modifying for the streets, and there's nothing wrong with that because it's cheap and affordable. And right now you start to see exactly what they have to deal with on that rear camera right now. Nothing it can do in terms of attacking. He cannot pull away right now from Chan Wing-Fei. He just has to hope he can get better exits, and that's what he's trying to do right now. Can he get the better one out of turn 4? I think he'll be able to.
This is an acceleration circuit, but if you're going to have 2 takes into turn 4, you might as well open up the chances there. Ian May just about covers off Chan Wing-Fei for that position, then pushes wide through 5, which opens up the turn at 6. Now, one of the things they'll be dealing with over the course of the racing that they'll have over 3 races, and this circuit more than a lot of others, is the one thing they can't turn off in this car, which is the traction control.
And traction control is going to be very annoying on a circuit like this if you try to really run that car wide and aggressive on some of these corners. Leaders having a little bit of a moment up front. They're trying to take that as hard as they can. You can just see right there, Doherty taking an off track, following Kelly, just having a moment there, but they keep it together, but it bunches everybody up.
Well, I think actually taking his foot off of it a little bit there was Doherty, and that's why the gap's opened up now to half a second, and it brings in the likes of Rory O'Shea and Sean McGoldrick with the Mr. Sparkle car in 4th position there. McGoldrick is really trying to, quote-unquote, get the car on home soil with the home livery into play and gaining that time and gaining that ability. But that's not happening at the moment. He's just having to play that patience card. And remember, he's already used his drop round. He's not going to make moves in 4th place as we look on the rear spoiler of the leader. Or for a moment, as that's McCann again, is that around in the background there. Number 13th place, number 9 in trouble.
Yeah, Peter McCann having another moment. It looked like Chan Wing-Fei, he was just trying to get a moment on Chan Wing-Fei and just made a mistake getting on at the throttle. He goes out. We'll have a quick look at this replay. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got some damage.
Well, let's see. He's going to try and attack around turn 8 here, which is about 200 degrees worth of hairpin. But yeah, he just gets out in the grass, and he's done so well to get that stop. He's almost duped it the same way that he's gone through there. So he's done very well to avoid all of the issues. Evan Walsh, by the way, has come in and made a pit stop. So it looks like his opening round not working here at Tsukuba. But he's almost duked it, you know, the same way that you do that trucking test to make sure that you stop a car from rolling over, which has always failed by the SUVs for some reason, Craig.
Yeah, I wonder why the SUVs failed. I'm not entirely sure there. I can't put my finger on it, but that is a good little way to keep the car going. Unfortunately, it would have heated the tyres up, so he would have a little bit of a horrible half a lap next time by. So that's probably going to put him a few bits down in terms of time. These 4 still duking it out. Where is the move going to be made? We've not seen the top 4 this close, this late in a race recently. It just depends now. Can any of them make a move? It looks like Jordan Kelly's just racing away for another win.
God, look at how the car sits! Bang! Round goes the championship leader. Just like that, Rory O'Shea in trouble. McGoldrick has tipped him round.
He's tipped him round, and he's also lost some positions as well. He goes down to P5, and McClement and McDonald both get through the Potato Nation car, now sitting in P4. We go to look for a replay here.
This is how easily you can get bottled up and frustrated. If you think you can find the move, you go for it. Look at that. Door is ever so slightly left open, but the move not on there for McGoldrick. And just like that, Rory O'Shea finds himself looking in the wrong direction, staring back into the traffic.
Now, there's a blue-green apron there, and you think to yourself, well, maybe, actually, let's just wait to see if there's a move in the background. Nope, more just goes against it. That blue apron on the inside there, you think you can run it a little bit? You can't. It's almost like that Sandvort corner, where they've now got the glued cobblestones there. You cannot go over it because it will cause you issues, and I think he was trying to look for a cheeky move using that.
I will say that is such a Dutch solution to a problem to put cobblestones there. That is a brilliant solution out there on track. But look at how it makes the middle of this pack look all of a sudden, because it's now a who's who. Dylan McClements has quietly made his way up into third, but then you've got the Potato Nation car of John McDonald, Sean McGoldrick, Robert Moore, Adam Dowling, Lawrence de Sosua, Sean Hegarty. They're all there. There's one spot on the podium here in race 1 and 5 bridesmaids.
Yeah, well, you can't all be a bridesmaid. You're going to have to be the best man. Or you may have to be one of the group. No, I can't remember what the words are. I've lost my words regardless. I wanted to say Adam Dowling, 7 places made up this race as he currently sits in P6. And look at the battles in the background with the Stosler.
One mistake for Robert Moore. I think the traction control bit him. One place goes, and the Irish YouTuber just behind trying to find that place to make the move. It's not happening for him at the moment. The leader, the self-proclaimed leader of Potato Nation, struggling to find himself a way through, and one of his disciples out there in 4th position is having a cracking race at the moment. Here is John McDonald. Lead, by the way, is out to 0.8 of a second. Ronan Doherty's trying everything to keep Jordan Kelly in check, but he's struggling to hold on to the rear. As it stands, the middle of this group, something's got to give. Someone's got to attack, and here comes a little look there as Mr. Sparkle is now thinking about that move. Sean McGoldrick's got his eyes on John McDonald.
Yeah, McGoldrick almost looked like he wanted to get a little bit harder on the throttle earlier on the exit of turn 8 there. Could not get it. Rides the curb on the inside there at turn 9. Cannot get that push down. Remember, if you lose a 10th of a second on this track, it's worse than any other track. That is just the nature here. But you can see McGoldrick's harder on the brakes. He's looking like he wants to make a move.
He's trying to show his hand here with John McDonald, who is also John McDonald 7, so he's the 7th John McDonald to have an iRacing account. He is also number 7 coming into this field and started in position number 7. If he's got a lucky number, I don't know what it is. That's the Sosua in the background there, who had his eyes fully affixed with Sean Hegarty, and Hegarty has found his pass through. Little defensive line then from McDonald into the turn 8 hairpin there of Hatchie, and he now finds himself realizing that that gap is extending out to Dylan McClement. That could be so strugglesome at this point for him, because he knows if he loses that latch, that tow bar, essentially, to one Mr. Dylan McClement, he's going to be losing 0.5 of a second, if not more, on every straight. And McGoldrick knows it. He's almost there.
McGoldrick knows it. He's faster on the exit there. He's going to try to go around the outside. He slides, and he loses that time. He tried to make it. He had the speed, but he could not hold on to it. 7 must be a lucky number for John McDonald. He could be the 7th son of a 7th son.
He could be the 7th son of a 7th son, which would make him a 49th son out there, or a 49th grandson, you could say at that point. Now looking for a drive here through turn 5 and in towards turn 6 out on track. This is where it's about setup. Carry the momentum through the flick of 7, which affects your braking zone, into turn 8. The long sweeping corner where you try and attack off the exit and gain the most amount of speed that you possibly can. And this group right now, there is nothing that you can do. The Team DDR machine is doing enough in 3rd place to hold everything at bay. And look at the difference in lines with 2 laps to go. It's very much a case of that wider expansive line into turn number 9 compared to the shallow line looking to attack the middle of the corner, as again McGoldrick tries to find a way around the outside to no avail.
It's not working for him. It's not working. He cannot take that inside. McDonald is covering up every time. And I've noticed as well, they're taking different braking patterns as well into that final corner. McDonald wants to put a bit more tapping of the brakes mid-corner, and it is costing him on the exit. McGoldrick taking so much speed difference. He knows he's getting a bit frustrated there.
Oh, that was a big wiggle there from McGoldrick, and that might open up Adam Dowling, who's made great progress. Remember, he started 13th on the grid on the 7th row, did Adam Dowling. He's thinking that a top 5 isn't out of the realms of possibility. Certainly has had the pace in various RTA seasons in the past. He's looking now to try and realise that. Last lap will start, though, for Jordan Kelly here, Craig, and look at that gap. It's almost a second. Hasn't been able to break Ronan Doherty, but he's done just enough.
He's done just enough. In the previous lap, he was 2/10 faster. They matched this time by. That's not what you need. You need more time here. All he's got to do now is just keep these final corners nice and calm. And Jordan Kelly is going to record his third win in 4 races, sorry.
Yeah, and you got to say that is championship form if you can find 3 wins in 4 different races, even though he missed the opening 3 races of the championship, and we'll use that as the drop round. There is the battle on for 3rd place, and McGoldrick looks the most likely to make a move on McDonald, who feels very abased by it. Is that a dive to the inside? No, it's covered off well, but you got to watch out for Dowling. Might have a great stride off of the exit. Jordan Kelly, no such worries as he drives it in to the final corner out on circuit, turn number 9, and he will find himself as cool as it takes. Another one for number 3 to win. Jordan Kelly takes race 1 with Doherty second, and wide off the final corner goes Dylan McClemens, who is very excited by the fact of that podium. Brilliant racing throughout.
You've got to feel as well, John McDonald's got to be happy with that as well. Fantastic finish there from McDonald to take that P4. Puts him in a really good position now to try and get a great launch on the first lap here on the next race. Maybe he can do some damage.
Top 2 in the championship, 12th and 14th. The door wide open for absolutely everybody as we will go and look at race number 2. So results from race 1 is basically how they grid for race 2. Jordan Kelly will have control of the field with Ronan Doherty second, Dylan McClemens third, and John McDonald in 4th position. It's then Sean McGoldrick and Adam Dowling, with Robert Moore and Sean Hegarty 7th and 8th, Lawrence De Sosa up to 9th, and Ian May rounding out the top 10. 5 more down on the pages as they go through. It's going to be rapid fire because they've only got a minute to grid. Chan Wing Fei, Rory O'Shea, Tony Stack, Peter McCann, and Evan Walsh there in 15th. Watch out for those drivers, 12th, 14th, 15th, wanting to make moves in this second race. Super sprint time, 10 minutes to get yourself sorted. We're getting ready, as it will be again Jordan Kelly on the front. Will Ronan Doherty have the better of him again off the line? Lights on, lights out. We get underway. It looks a little bit better this time from Jordan Kelly, who's going to be able to try and cover it off, but he can't shut the door. Yes, he does. All the way to the pit wall, he covers it off. Little search from Dylan McClemens trying to find his way through. But 1, 2, 3, and 4, they will remain. Look at it through the middle of the pack. It looks like Sean Hegarty's got his mouth ice full. Everything full at this point in time. Hands full with those on the inside trying to find some moves into turn 4. Big push to the outside. Rory O'Shea also goes away as De Sosa takes a place.
Traffic, 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 and we see cars losing some positions on that first lap. Rory O'Shea +2. Ian May was almost -2, but he's managed to hold on. They're trying to sort themselves out in a single file in the back of the field. But meanwhile, it's all pretty calm on the western front. Wide goes Sean Hegarty there as he tried to go a little bit too hot defending.
Oh, he was scared off by Rory O'Shea. That much is very, very clear. And go on, my son. It says on the side, he will try and go and get everything he possibly can going there. The chrome machine is certainly glinting in the sunlight, but he's finding out that the sun is very much in his eyes. He loses another position. That's Tony Stack this time as they go through. De Sosa currently right now. Ooh, it gets close. It gets close there. Tony Stack nearly having a huge issue in front of the rest of the group. Remember, top 8 inverts. That's where De Sosa finds himself at the moment.
And this is where the drivers at the back don't want to be. That's why it's so scrappy. They realize being at the back of this train does not give you any chance to get to that P8. That could be vital. So all of a sudden, this battle for the last 5 positions is more important than ever before because of where we are on this track.
There is your race leader, Jordan Kelly. He will look behind. It's Ronan Doherty, who has stared at the back of the stock standard GR86 that is there in front of him, and it is troublesome. He has read every single sponsor on the back, and he wants a new book.
He wants a new book. He actually wants to get himself a brand new crayon to start rubbing out those logos because he's had enough of seeing them. He cannot get anywhere, but look how close he is. This is the closest he's been on the back of Jordan Kelly all night. And I know we've only had 15 minutes of racing, but at the same time, if he can just stay like this for the next 5 minutes, maybe at the end of this race, he might be able to look for a move.
Well, Dylan McClements has got his hands full behind in third place. That's allowing these two now to shuffle away. 1.3 seconds to the good. The DDR car in third has got Sean McGoldrick everywhere trying to find this move. And with a bit of sparkle and a bit of shine, there might be a squeaky clean move on the horizon.
Well, we got to look out for it because we know McGoldrick got a little bit flustered and a little bit annoyed and tried to make a move that wasn't there last time by. He can see the defense there. Good defense from McClements, putting the car in the middle of the track. Unable to do anything right now, but why do it now? Still 7 minutes left in the race. You've got all the time in the world. It may be a super sprint. You don't need to rush too fast.
No, you don't. You still have time to make things happen, although they have already lost over a third of this race. Jordan Kelly responding with the fastest lap, and a bit of that traction control means Ronan Doherty starts to fall back. Look at McGoldrick. He's almost pushing him through 2 and 3, trying to prise open. Same thing that happened in race 1. McGoldrick forcing his way through. John McDonald gets thrown out. McClements now 3 wide, and it's a Potato Nation sandwich as they go into turn 5. How is this not ended in total disaster as they run through, and the Potato Nation teammates collide, and O'Shea, the championship leaders, in the wall?
You just cursed it when you said how they not collided because the Sosa accidentally got the rear of John McDonald, and that took him around. O'Shea's toed, Walsh's toed.
Oh, that's huge. This is what goes wrong for Ian May's perspective. Look at it. It is Piccadilly Circus at rush hour just in front, and they all have to go somewhere. And of course, there is that left, and then all of a sudden, just moving out, there's no room left. Bonnet pops open for Ian May. The John Players special GR86 finds itself especially damaged.
Now, they do need to think about this because they can still get points if they continue out there, but also set themselves up for a decent start for the final race of the night. But just because they're now 13th, 14th, 15th, they don't need to actually worry. They could still finish a position higher if something goes wrong for somebody else.
It's been a horror night for Rory O'Shea, way down the order, not just in race 1, but race 2 for the championship leader. Well, he thought that it was left wide open. I think the horse has bolted it out of a very wide open barn door for the championship as it stands at this stage. Likes of Jordan Kelly would absolutely love that. Sean McGoldrick might be having a talking to from the stewards, not just for race 1, but for race 2 as well as they go through. There is Dylan McClements in 6th position. Lawrence Soswa just behind him in 7th is trying to work out whether he can gain another place, gain a few more points up the hill into turn 1. That plateaued braking is so crucial. You can brake a little bit later there at turn 1, Craig, but the moment that you have to start to turn in, you have to be patient, you have to wait, and oh no! Round goes McClements, big hit there by De Soswa.
And that's not what you want to see, and that's twice that's happened now to that car, and not by their own fault there, and he's going to be losing some positions. It does mean Peter McCann goes up to that magic P8 all of a sudden, but that number 2 car is having a day he wants to forget.
Yeah, I think Dylan McClements right now, as Peter McCann finds himself now in the transfer spot in 8th place, that number 2 car of Dylan McClements has the sim racing equivalent of the post-it note on the back of his, of his jumper that says "kick me."
Yeah, it is not looking good. And to be fair, Dylan has driven fantastically this week. He's really tried to do some defense, and it has not worked for him. Just drivers trying to see what they can do. But that's so tricky through turn 2, turn 3, breaking into turn 4. Because of the camber, again, I reiterate, it makes me feel like it's Zandvoort.
Yes, and you do get a very, very surprising amount of camber here around this circuit. It's subtle around this track, and you really do have to open your eyes and concentrate around it. This circuit is easy to drive, Craig, but hard to master.
Yeah, especially with the corners we've just seen. I am one of these drivers that really struggle around this track, but you can see Robert Moore isn't struggling. He's struggling to hold off Adam Dowling. 4th and 5th here. This could be quite crucial because this would swap their grid position for the reverse grid, and then you get the inside. That's all very crucial in that final race.
Yeah, the inside line is key in terms of getting a run off the start, but it would be the dirty side of the circuit, which would be their one issue that they have. Although, in saying that, Craig, you see the line they're taking out of the final corner. It's not really much rubber being laid down over the grid positions on the odd side.
No, not a lot of rubber getting put down there, which probably isn't too bad of an issue there. It means you're not going to get a lot of marble kick up. I mean, even still, we haven't talked about it. It's only 38°C out there. It's a cold day in terms of a Japanese track. I know that sounds crazy, but it is pretty cold.
It is, and we are in the midday at this point. It's about 2:30 coming up to in sim time, so it looks like that track's only going to get colder as it goes on through 101 Fahrenheit out there. It is going to dip down to double digits not very long from now, but this is the group 4th and 5th that is breaking away from Lawrence de Sosa in 6th position. And every point, we talk about this, every point matters in a championship. They do have that one drop round. Now, that one drop round becomes crucial, Craig, when you consider that you can only take that drop round between rounds 1 and 7. Round 8 can't be dropped.
And that's when you then know exactly what your situation is. So this is all crucial, because what a points win prizes, and that's what they're trying to do. Hard on the braking is a little bit harder than Dowling, and it does compromise his exit. Dowling's still looking, but he's unable to get that pull that he needs on the exit, and the dirty air there through 5 and 6 is starting to hinder him.
Thanks, Craig Forsyth. Now, here we go with a little look, trying to get it sorted. You have to be brave to make a lunge at turn 8. You just have to be a brave soldier to get that done. And look just behind, that's the transfer battle on screen right in the background there. Sean Hegarty is trying to find the move on the former championship leader, Peter McCann. Last lap starts for Jordan Kelly. He's 1.1 seconds to the good, Craig, but here it is. Hegarty trying to line up a run to turn 1, covered off by McCann.
And he can go a little bit later on the braking, as we talked about, but then that doesn't give him the line. He's compromised himself a little bit there due to the line McCann took compared to him. He's going to have to try and set this up elsewhere. Not going to work here at turn 4. Maybe a last corner overtake for Hegarty.
Hegarty's got to look at turn 8 as a good opportunity here. Takes a shallow line out of 4, heading now through to turn 5. But as that happens, there is Jordan Kelly, 1.1 to the good. Ronan Doherty hasn't been able to make anything happen of it through 2 straight races. One of the biggest trends here in RTA is if you can win race 1, you are a dead cert favourite to try and win race 2. It will happen here for Jordan Kelly, who is getting his double delight here in Ibaraki Prefecture. He will take the victory here. It's on as well for 4th position. That will be held by Moore, and it looks like a hold from McCann in the background. Hegarty throwing himself in the grass, trying to get forward, trying to get the most way to go through, but it doesn't quite happen. He has to settle for 9th. He'll be on the outside looking in terms of that play. Let's get results then from race number 2, because we're going to have about 5 minutes in between races here at this point. Jordan Kelly scoring the win there in 10 minutes and 30 seconds. He wins by 1.1 over Ronan Doherty. Sean McGoldrick will be crossed off a couple Christmas card lists. He finds himself 3rd with Robert Moore in 4th and Adam Dowling rounding at the top 5. It's then Lawrence de Sosa, John McDonald, Peter McCann there in 8th position. He will have the pole for race 3, with Sean Hegarty and Dylan McClements on the outside looking in as they go through. The final 5 will rush through quickly. Tony Stack, Ian May, Chan Wing Fei, Rory O'Shea and Evan Walsh, your top 5. Walsh not getting a finish for the 2nd consecutive race. That will be a real kick. But Craig, you've had the opportunity to walk down the virtual pit lane, and I believe you found yourself with the double race winner, Jordan Kelly.
Yeah, I'm going to be sitting here with Jordan Kelly. And Jordan, I think I spoke to you last week about this. You took the first 2 races last week. It's another double for you. What can you do this time? Because it's going to be a little bit tighter around here compared to Okayama last week.
Yeah, even that first race, trying to get past Ronan was I was some challenge, to be fair. But trying to pass 7 others now in front. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I think it's just all a matter of getting a good start now and seeing how it goes. But it was a nice clean 2 races we were running, good clean battling. So hopefully more of the same with everybody else now in the next race and get the head down.
Yeah, you've got to keep your head down. Of course, you look at also trying to get to the championship. Evan Walsh has not had a good night. Peter McCann, not a good night. He start pole for the final race. Is that a concern for you? And you look for your championship contention here?
I always want to look towards it, but the way work is, it's hard to get time on a Tuesday night. Just lucky the last 3 weeks I got time, but I mightn't get as lucky now the next few weeks. But hopefully I do, and get back talking to you and having a nice few good races with the boys at RTA. So.
Well, Jordan, we'll cross our fingers and hope for that, but we still got one more race tonight. Wish you all the best for that final race. Double winner for the night, Jordan Kelly there, Jake. And what can he do from P8? We'll wait and see.
We certainly will. We will also, though, talk to the driver who got double second positions in the back of the pocket. That's Ronan Doherty, who's alongside us right now. Now, Ronan, it's been a case for you that for about 13 of the 15 minutes that we've been seeing you out there racing, you've been having to stare at the back of Jordan Kelly's car. For you, though, 2 very consistent results is a massive, massive boost for you.
Yeah, it's good crack. Look, I didn't really do any practice, and I just came on and maybe just a tenth a lap off Jordan, and then if I make a mistake and lose a bit, there's not a big toe in these cars. Like, you'd want to be within half a second really, and then he's just maybe getting half a tenth every lap. So yeah, I mean the game plan really is just to try and get in front of him, and then hold him behind. That's what I was doing in the first race, but I made a slight mistake. So no, yeah, look, it's good racing, and I'm happy enough for 2 seconds.
Well, you're happy enough with the way it's going. How difficult is it to sort of drive this car in order to build an overtake? Because it looks like the moment you ever so slightly overdrive this car, that's when the traction control sets in.
Yeah, exactly. There was a moment there. I was right behind Jordan, and then I went 8 or 9 tenths behind him because he sort of lost the rear a bit, and then I just hit the brakes harder than I thought, and the bike that stepped out. So it's a tentative car, and then a little tiny thing like that can cost you the toe, and then cost you the run on Jordan ahead. But look, they're tentative to drive, but it's good crack. It's a low powered car around a track with not too many corners, so everyone's really close, and hopefully for the reverse grid race that'll bring close racing.
Well, we'll hope the best for you, Ronan, then starting from 7th position in that. And very quickly, Craig, you've managed to rush over to Dylan McClements.
Yeah, just got Dylan McClements here. A very quick question. It wasn't your best race there. Had a little bit bad luck in that second race. What can you do from P10 in this final race, Dylan?
Well, I'm just going to have to get that start and then keep the position and just stay a clean race and stuff.
Well, Dylan, we're a bit short for time. We'll have to talk a little bit later. We wish you the best of luck, and a clean race is the best way forward, and we hope for the best of you. He will start from P10 after starting P3 in that first race, looking to get back on the podium.
Well, he's hoping for a podium. We're hoping for amazing racing. The clock is going to tick over now as it reaches 0, which will bring us then to the feature race and the 20 minutes that they will have to try and get things all nicely sorted out. They will have Mid-Ohio on the mind for round 6 of 8. We are in that second half of the season, and it is crucial. Jordan Kelly will be in 8th position because it's Peter McCann who finds himself on the pole, needing an absolutely miraculous race now to get himself back in championship contention. John McDonald will be alongside him from the Potato Nation, with Lawrence de Sosa in 3rd and Adam Dowling in 4th position. Robert Moore will start 5th with Sean McGoldrick 6th. Ronan Doherty and Jordan Kelly, who have been the stars of tonight, they are 7th and 8th as per the reverse grid rules. Sean Hegarty will start 9th, and Dylan McClements there will be in 10th position. He will have work to do with Tony Stack, Ian May, Chan Wing Fei, Rory O'Shea back there, the championship leader in 14th. And Evan Walsh having a strugglesome night in 15th position. He will have the world waiting for him, but the world will wait for no one. The big race at Tsukuba is underway. McCann gets an okay secondary launch, but it's Lawrence de Sosa who got the best jump at the top three. Might have a chance here to go around the outside for it at turn one. It's covered off well by McCann, but McDonald wants to attack back against de Sosa here as he tries to find a way through. It's a good start by Sean McGoldrick. He's already gained up a place. He's looking for a second, and as they charge towards turn four, de Sosa on the inside is going to get there, and round almost goes McDonald, and there goes McGoldrick.
McGoldrick goes around, and I believe there's another car that's also gone around. It is Tony Stack. Just a little bit of a moment there. Everyone getting a little bit edgy as a couple cars have a little bit of a wobble as they went through turn four.
Oh, it's almost as edgy as a My Chemical Romance concert at this point in time. But there is Rory O'Shea down the inside there. He comfortably makes the pass and then gains another position in at the early goings. So he absolutely gets what he wants. But McCann, look at what he's been gifted in the early stages by the battling through the first four corners. A race to break away. We don't often see that. But look at the start that Adam Dowling has had in this race. He is now up into third position. He has got his eyes firmly affixed on moving forward. He's gained the one place that he needs, and he's got more to come along with it. Sean Hegarty side by side now with Ronan Doherty in the background, and Doherty looking to make some moves. McDonald with a mistake as well. We'll check both of the group up.
That will check everybody up, and you'll start to see Doherty wants to try and do this around the outside. He can't. He may lose this to Rory O'Shea. John McDonald's in a little bit of a moment as well. He tries to do this. He's a little bit of a cork in at the champagne bottle at the moment, but the defense here from Hegarty, it's very tough to get by, especially you come down into turn 8, and that send is finally in from Doherty.
Oh, and you're going to have to attack off the exit, sliding a little bit there. Off goes McDonald, and now he's going to look back. That group is starting to really form back up together again at the front. It's 4 to the front, and everybody else behind is trying to find a way through. And that will include Jordan Kelly in that group, who's got his eyes fixed on Ian May, who is not giving this one up there on the inside. Brilliant stuff. There's the big search to the inside, not happening. Here comes Hegarty. Oh, goodness me. Doherty with the mistake, having to get right on the binders, and he almost gets freight trained there by Rory O'Shea, who's desperate to get through.
Rory O'Shea having to put the brakes on there. He almost spun Doherty, but he managed to hold on. And now is the case of just keep the patience. He's already +6 at the moment. Jordan Kelly's -3 at the start of this race. There's still 17 minutes to do something. It's going to be very tough.
Yes, it will be, and they can't afford to be aggressive with the way they make those moves either. This is the point where you say, well, how many instant points do you have for this race? Effectively, you've got 1 a minute.
1 a minute. It doesn't sound a lot, but when you factor it all in, it's not like your Spa. This is a very tight track, and those can just come very quickly. 15x in 20 minutes, that is something you have to be ready for. And wide, we see some of these cars, and still Doherty is looking for a move. He's not going to get it this time.
That was Lawrence de Sosa off the road, and look at that, just finding the noses on the inside. Hegarty couldn't shut the door. Round goes McClements in the background there, and he finds himself now struggling to get that one back up to speed. Still trying to make it happen. Look at the power move around the outside. Ronan Doherty's earned the inside line at 5 here, and he gets that. Go, go, go. He will take that place, and he will move himself up one more. Now here comes Rory O'Shea with eyes going forward. Sosa now back into third place. Adam Dowling now to second, but Rory O'Shea, easy as you like. Go on, my son. He's going the wrong way, though.
It's easy as you want, because the moment you get on that camber, it just makes things so easy. And unfortunately for Hegarty, he just did not have the right line there. He continues on. He has gone down a couple positions, still +1. All eyes of Rory O'Shea, though, +7. He's trying to mount a comeback, and there are still loads of time. But if he does that, he's not going to make it.
Oh, he just about holds on to it. Now he's going to have a real scrap as he heads to the opening corner. The inside covered fantastically there by Hegarty, who's going to run him out of road. On the outside, leaves him just enough racing room, and that allows O'Shea to sneak on through at 2 and 3 and get the move done at 4. Ian May proving to be a thorn for Jordan Kelly. Look at him, he can't get by him. He's got the widest car in the road at this point in time. You might as well call him Captain Slow because he is holding everybody up.
This is the corking. You can see Jordan Kelly, his teammate Evan Welch, trying to get by. But Kelly, he's having to try and do these moves around the outside of these corners. And unless your name's Rowan Dossahy, you're not making that move. But finally, he has the run out of turn 8. He's going to get a small overlap going down the back straight. This should be his position to take when they go into turn 9.
Well, Ian May doesn't know what the word quit is. Round goes Jordan Kelly, bang! Into the wall he goes. Ian May was going to fight him every single stage of the way, and both of them then finding themselves pretty much relegated out of that. And that could have gone any number of ways, and that's what frustration does at Tsukuba. This is a patience race, and that is all about being too aggressive from Jordan Kelly.
Kelly tried to take as much speed as he could going into the corner, but side by side he had a slide. He tried to correct the slide, but by the time he corrected the slide, they were meeting in the middle of that corner. Unfortunately, that could be it for Jordan Kelly for the night.
And neither of them were called Malcolm, so that meant that both of them had to end their races there and then. They're still going, but they are now at the back, 14th and 15th respectively. There is Sean McGoldrick trying to keep himself close, but mind you, the Potato Nation car's got his eyes full of Ronan Doherty. This is for the top 5, and these two, 102.5 and a 102 flat respectively, they've been trying to pull down that gap at the front, which is currently 102.7s being run by the leader. Doherty is by far and away the fastest driver on track, and John McDonald knows it. He goes through, but has he got a little bit too deep there through the corner? McDonald might be able to attack back here towards 4, but he's on the wrong side of the road to really do anything, and he knows he'll have to give that one up. That's Doherty making sure of that top 5.
Yeah, a little tap there on the back of Doherty's car there from McDonald, but thankfully they do not have a spin. They do not come together, able to hold on there, but the time they are losing now, McDonald has to just allow Doherty to take them to the front. Because if he uses Doherty, he can get to the front, he doesn't have to look behind, and then he can start thinking, maybe I can get a podium.
Maybe he can, but now this is not a game of maybes. You're going to have to make things work for you. That is the difference between the top 2 over their lap comparisons. There's not been much in terms of the other way for McCann, but it has been some big swipes taken out by Adam Dowling, who's slowly whittling away like an artisan here, the top of Peter McCann's gap. 7/10 of a second it was over the line. It's now down to half a second here as they make their way down into yon corner, turn 4.
You've got to think, Lawrence D'Souza was trying to say this year he wasn't going to be wasn't going to be Mr. Consistent. He wants to take the aggression. Right now, consistency is working. He's holding on to the back of these two. As Peter McCann and Adam Dowling don't have it their way. It's not just those two out for a little stroll today. It's the 3 cars, and they are starting to pull away from Robert Moore. But if they keep fighting, well, Robert's in play.
A little bite there off of the inside curb for Peter McCann might open up Adam Dowling to close another 1/10 of a second, and that gap down now to just 3.5 tenths. And look at how you're going to have to fight through that final corner. Every single time you're on that power, you're trying to open up the corner as much as possible. But this is a really unique car where you're looking at it, it's got understeer for days, but the moment you jump over the limit of grip, it loves its oversteer.
It loves its oversteer, but it also loves to fire you the wrong way. You've got to be careful with the steering. You've got to be nice and smooth. Treat it like it's your daily driver. You wouldn't thrash it around the corners, and you wouldn't thrash this around the corners. And that's just what we're seeing right now by these 3, keeping it cool, calm, collective, and nice and smooth.
It is as smooth as you want it, but it is Sim Race City, baby, here right now for Lawrence D'Souza. He is looking to try and find himself the goal. He wants to make it rain as he now thinks about those top 2 in front. But he knows he's got to think about every single move and making it as clean as possible. And the prospect that the group behind, the likes of Ronan Doherty, for example, and Rory O'Shea, could close down this gap if they are too aggressive with the way they battle at the front. You have to manufacture time in this series to give yourself a chance. And time, the only true commodity that is very scarce when it comes to the world.
It's the most precious commodity in the world, and I think now we're in peloton mode. These three are a breakaway group at the front, and they are now starting to pace themselves. They matched with the rest of the field. They matched with Robert Moore last time. That's all they need to do right now. They can worry about the others fighting each other to try and get to them, but until then, there's 10 minutes left. They've only got 10 laps left. It looks pretty high and sailing at the moment for them, but let's just knock on wood and hope there's going to be no incidents.
Oh, Craig, look at the way that Adam Dowling's car pitches under brakes.
Isn't it just beautiful? It's just so nice to see how this car reacts to the throttle, to the braking, to the turning. We've seen it before as well when we saw that save with the car coming out of turn 8, having a little bit of a moment. These cars are just so responsive on whatever pedal you hit. It's just beautiful to see.
God, it's almost as well like that front right tyre is almost trying to lift off here in through every corner, and that can be a very, very scary feeling, not having the feeling of the front right or the front left tyre as you go through every corner. You can certainly sense that the group behind is starting to get involved here, and it's going to be a battle of ours in what is 4th and 5th position. It's Robert versus Ronan at this point, and I think at this moment that is going to be the game changer for the race. How quickly can Ronan Doherty dispatch of Robert Moore? He has got to do something that so many Bond villains have been unable to do, and dispatch of a James Bond.
Yeah, we've got to keep a dispatch, and look at this group. While we were just watching that, you see Evan Welch on the bottom of the timing tower. He's had to take a tow. That's championship implications, and that could open up Sean McGoldrick to have a little tie in to try and get some points. Still very tough, though, in P12.
Yep, still very tough. So Evan Walsh finding himself in trouble, and that was into turn 1. So that's where it goes wrong. And in fact, it was contact with McGoldrick that caused that to go through. But for the first time, this is McGoldrick not finding himself in the right position, but rather the wrong one out there on track. So as it goes on, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, this is where it is getting super frustrating for number 4. Robert Moore has got his car in all the right places to frustrate.
And you can see, look at that on the exit of 6. He's managed to put that in such a position that Doherty cannot go for a move to take it side by side. And now he's going to have to use the power out of turn 8 to try and make this move, try and force the issue down to turn 9. And we know what happens if you try and force the issue. We've seen it with Jordan Kelly. He's got to be careful making this move.
Oh, it's a pivot, but the door is firmly slammed shut through the corner. That will cover off the line on the exit, but if you run a little bit wide, there might not be anywhere to go. Hard cross of the beams over to the inside, and then trying to work the magic there. The Oracle on the outside is not going to happen, but this is a track where you're going to have to make laps in advance, positioning and choices that get you that move. This is the chess game right now. Who's playing 5D chess with time travel mechanics, and who's discovered that it's checkers?
I think it's knight to B6 at the moment, and is that going to be the move that holds it? Because Doherty is trying to push. You've seen Rory O'Shea. He's let off a little bit from McDonald, trying to get probably a good run out of this final corner. That's all these two drivers need. That's all Doherty and O'Shea need. They just need to get that run, and it's not coming for them, and there's 6 minutes left.
Yeah, and look at that clock. They have lost 2/3 of this race, and they're starting to think that those top 3 are safe. They are away, and that could be the all-important maker or breaker as they now start to go through. You can also see the small bit of rubber build-up that is there on the windscreen of the driver that we go on board with, Rory O'Shea. That's indicating that they are laying down the marbles on this circuit, which means it's getting more and more difficult if you go to the outside to try and make a pass.
But is it too late in the day in terms of how much racing they've done for that marble to really play havoc? On the exit there at turn 5, you can really see how much there is. But apart from that, we're not seeing that build-up of marbles elsewhere on this track. Doherty again tries to go for the move, and look how wide he goes to try and set himself up. Going high on that curving, though, is not going to help you.
No, it's not. It's all about getting that smooth run off of the exit. Difference in property on the outside is not going to be your best friend, and Doherty again will realise that, and again will have to look at Robert Moore, who's got that sorted. 1, 2, and 3, as they are at the moment. And Adam Dowling, you sense, is trying to either find a mistake, and he may have just found one, actually out to your race leader. This might be the chance that he's looking for. There'll be nose to tail. Look at him, nose to tail in the back of shot as they head towards this fourth corner. This race lead is on. Adam Dowling can't quite capitalise on the small error at turn 1.
Can't capitalise yet, but he is now putting the pressure, and this is the worst that McCann has had all race for pressure. The cooker is starting to build, and all of a sudden there's only one place for that to go. De Sosa's got the best seat in the house for this though, but Dowling with not a very good exit there at turn 8.
No, he had to struggle and slide, and that opens the door then to escape for McCann. To as they were, De Sosa was on the blower. He was on the radio saying, go on, lads, you go out there, you have your race. But now look at how much pivot and turn there is from Adam Dowling's Toyota. He is able to get that one beautifully turned into the opening corners, and he knows how crucial it's going to be to try and etch his way into an RTA victory. But this is not going to be as plain sailing as you think it's going to be. Big aggressive lunge on the brakes in through 4.
Yeah, big lunging. It's almost like De Sosa was doing. It's some big hard braking and late braking, but it's just not paying off. You really need to capitalize on the corner exits, and if you go too deep, you're not going to get a good exit here. What can Dowling do? Again, looks for a good move, but as he gets so much speed in the middle of the corner, he's unable to get that throttle down as early as he wants, as McCann is starting to stack him up.
This is no Gran Turismo. This is all out at this point. Everyone is now looking around at everybody else going, what have you got? That group behind in 4th and 5th, the way they're driving, the way they're forcing small mistakes, that gap is down to 1.5 seconds. And soon De Sosa's going to have to move as they go through. 1, 2, and 3, almost a pivot angle there to get that one done at the opening corner. It's not there yet, and they're running out of laps to make it happen.
They're running out of laps, but all of a sudden, look at the lap times, and the top 5 and 4, side by side they go. And is that Robert Moore finally getting that defense on Doherty? It is, but they were starting to catch. They are starting to catch, and all of a sudden, the last 2 laps could be a 5-car thriller as these 3 at the front, they cannot make their mind up who wants to lead.
Yeah, but if Doherty can't make the pass on Moore and he's going to hold him up trying to get away through because he's so focused on defence, that could be that. De Sosa with a really good opportunity as well. He might find himself with the chance to make the move here, and that's forcing defence out of Dowling all of a sudden. Now, can De Sosa get that done? No. A little later on the brakes goes Adam Dowling, and McCann is given reprieve again.
But look for the braking of De Sosa. He's been practicing late braking for the last 5 laps. And look how deep he goes into the corner. Almost so he has to take a 3rd line through that hairpin. It does not work this time. But if he didn't have that moment trying to take it at turn 9, I think he would have had it.
And there is the move then from Doherty against Moore. Puts him up into 4th place. But I think he's taken too long to make any meaningful efforts out of it. Unless they start deciding that they want to play bumper cars out there for the race lead. They know how important it is between these 3. Who is going to decide what they want? I think De Sosa was going to let them race for the top 2 and see if he can pick up the scraps coming off of the exit. He will be the Artful Dodger waiting for that opportunity, and they're going to be running out of time. It's going to be so close between 1 lap or 2 as they cross the line.
Yep, keep that time up. They're doing 103s, 102s at the moment. How much time are they going to do? 10, 9, they're going to make it. They're going to have 2 more laps for sure. But all of a sudden, De Sosa was losing time here. Doherty's starting to catch him. Don't call that a comeback yet, but Doherty's almost there.
He's almost on top of Lawrence De Sosa. He runs a little wide through the opening corner, but it's about the top 2. Adam Dowling, who has been so patient, trying to find this move. And will he fall asleep before his patience breaks at that moment in time? He knows how much he's put Peter McCann under pressure, and Peter McCann has not driven this good since the opening rounds of the championship at Willow Springs. That much is a guarantee in terms of his race 3. On the brakes, Adam Dowling starts to search again, and he needs a drive off an exit if he wants to make any form of inroad to try and get a place. He's now started to close that in, and he's gone to the headlight flash. Every trick in the book is starting to be used. He thinks about a look to the inside. We're going to be at a checkered flag heading through because it's going to be so mightily close here as they head over towards the line. Is that going to be called? No. 2 seconds short. Doherty is in the grass. That might bring more through. Oh my goodness, there is the checkered flag. I think, I'm not sure. It looks like they have finished the race. It looks like McCann has won.
That's very manic there. It was so close at the end, but no one could see it. Great close battling all the way through. And I think that time just caught them. Was McCann controlling the field? It does feel like it. Great management there from McCann.
Barney the flagman has flown that flag a little bit early in my book, but that will be classified as official as they head over towards the line. So that then is going to be everything all done and sorted in the book. It will look like an incredible showcase of driving that's gone through, and let's get confirmation of that final result in just a moment, because we are going to step aside here with the Global SimRacing Channel. We'll be back with post-race coverage after this. So with everything all bringing itself to a close, 3 races that meant a lot in terms of the context of this championship. It is the former championship leader, the driver who came into tonight in second, had himself a very bad opening round, just about a recovery in the second, will go from pole to win in the feature, and did so by 0.2 of a second over Adam Dowling. Lawrence de Sosla would end up in third, with Ronan Doherty just not able to make that happen in fourth. He ran out of time, with Robert Moore rounding out the top 5 in this field. Rory O'Shea would finish off in 6th, with John McDonald 7th and Sean Hegarty ending up in 8th place. Chan Wing Fei with a really solid 9th place drive in the end, and Dylan McClements finding out just what makes this racing difficult, as he ended up in 10th position. Sean McGoldrick would finish 11th, with Tony Stack in 12th, with Ian May, Jordan Kelly in 14th. That would be a big shock for him. And then Evan Walsh just finding out that it's a miserable night for him. 15s across the board, as he would put 45 points in the back of the pocket. Peter McCann, though, joins us right now here in the commentary box. And Peter, after what was a night for you, which started off not the way that you wanted it, the fact that you're able to drive lights to flag in the third race is something that very seldom happens.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I was waiting for the reverse grid guys to come to the top again, but it didn't happen. Very surprised.
And would you say that that's the sort of thing that wouldn't happen just because how close everyone was with the example of qualifying? Everyone was in 0.9 of a second through qualifying. So do you think that this track was a really good equalizer for everyone in terms of skill level?
Massively so. And the fact also it was super, super hard to commit to a move here. You just couldn't get alongside cars and stuff. So it's, I knew if I could just keep it on the track and run decent lines that I had a good chance at a win.
Well, it seemed like Rory O'Shea, who was the championship leader, had an equally as bad night, if not worse. So you gain traction in the championship. The move, though, goes back stateside. What's your opinions of Mid-Ohio?
I love the place. I think it's a savage, fast-flowing track. So it's one I should do well at. I usually do well there. So we'll see what happens.
Well, confidence is flowing after a win in race 3. Peter, the floor is yours. Anybody you'd like to thank? It's a victory here in race 3.
Just to the rest of the guys in RTA for putting on another great series, and to you guys for what's always a great stream once I get to look back at it now. So thanks a million.
No worries at all. Peter McCann there joining us and getting a big victory in the realms of his championship. I wonder for you, Craig, down the pit lane, and you found your eyes with Adam Dowling, who managed to get a second place.
Yeah, I've got an Adam Dowling here who managed to make the most of that start. That first lap looked a little bit hectic, but it found a way to get past Lawrence. It just looked like you were struggling to find the pace to get past Peter there at the end there, Adam.
Yeah, no, it was a decent start. It's like the first time in all these races I've actually been able to use the clutch properly in these. But yeah, I couldn't get past Peter. He was just that bit much quicker than me, and I just was unfortunate to not force him into a mistake, really.
Yeah, you three, yourself, Peter, and Lawrence in that race, were doing some very interesting and fun driving there. What is your thought process when you are the meat in the sandwich there? Were you more fixated on the front, or were you really worried about what Lawrence was doing in the back?
I've hit Peter so many times in other races that I was more concentrated on not hitting him and not worrying about Lawrence behind me.
So I know this is your best result of the season. It has been a come and go season for you. Mid-Ohio is next week, and of course, we asked the same question because I actually do enjoy Mid-Ohio. What are you expecting from that track compared to these tight sections of Tsukuba?
It should be a bit easier kind of past people. Tsukuba is difficult enough because there's not much of a draft. You really have to make like a lunge from the middle of nowhere, so it might be a bit easier in Mid-Ohio. But hopefully it is anyway.
Well, Adam, before we let you go for the night, the floor is all yours. Any shout-outs?
No, just thanks to Rob Parks for hosting it, Peter for doing a lot of the work with all of the series, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
That was Adam Dowling, who managed to get a P2 in the feature race after starting in 4th position. I believe, Jake, you may have found that third place man in the paddock. I believe you've got Lawrence D'Souza with you.
I believe I do, and I believe Lawrence is also live on YouTube right now on his YouTube channel. 14,700 subscribers with you, Lawrence. And for you, an opportunity in that third race. It was a case of you slowly building up through the night. You had the front two in front of you, and honestly, the best seat in the house.
Yeah, it was good. They were, I don't know if they were trying 100%, but yeah, I kept with them for a long time. And I was happy enough with it. I got a great start, got up into P2, but then I had a little bit of a wobble in the last corner and gave away the position. And yeah, ended up in P3. But yeah, people on the stream kept me pretty entertained.
Well, that was entertainment for you. You've been talking up throughout the entirety of the season that you're out there, you want to go and score, you want to go and get results out there. But for you, in terms of how you built through the race, the races tonight, 11th to 9th, 9th to 6th, and then with that reverse, 3rd remained 3rd as you went through. Was this the sort of track where that mentality of you go out there and throw everything at the wall just wasn't going to be as much of an opportunity as possible, just because of the nature of this circuit, how there isn't really a long straight where you can really streamline your way past someone?
Yeah, to do well on this track, you really need to be consistent first and foremost, but you have to put so much pressure on the car ahead. One of the things I'm trying to concentrate on this season is to not just sit in my comfort zone, because I know if I just concentrate on consistency, I'll get better results. And generally, I'm just taking those, taking more risks. So that's why the results are not as good as they have been in other seasons. But I'm learning a lot because I am tussling with a lot of these, super fast drivers. Towards the end of the last race there, though, some people who had crashed out started donating money and started putting really, really kind of evil ideas into my head. They told me that I had to, and I was completely not involved in any of this. I wasn't solicited at all. But they told me to bin Adam Dowling, who was ahead of me, because someone wanted championship points or something, and I just couldn't do it. They donated like 40 or 50 euro. So I feel really bad about that, but that is why I crashed into him after the finish. It was kind of the halfway house. I'm very, very sorry about that.
Well, either A, that's a refund, or B, that goes into the kitty for a lot of sim racing gear that you get to review and have the opportunity to review. For you, when it comes to your sim racing and how you go through, we've got Mid-Ohio next week, which we'll just touch on along with this. But when it comes to you and your consistency level, how difficult is it for you to stay settled in a sim rig that you've got, when you're constantly chopping and changing and reviewing what pedals you like, what gear you like, and how you want to almost custom craft your sim rig?
Yeah, every single week that I race, I have different hardware on the rig because I'm doing reviews and I'm comparing and putting different stuff on there. But even if I have the same wheelbase, 2 weeks in a row, it's probably running vastly different settings, different power settings, and just lots of. I'm constantly trying to experiment. My pedals feel different, so I'm actually constantly learning the equipment. I like to think I'd be quicker if I had a very consistent setup, but I also think when you get used to it, you can kind of adjust to setups quicker as well, if that makes sense. So I don't particularly feel slow with new hardware, but I think if I had the time to practice, so if I put the time that I put into my YouTube channel into just practicing, I know I could. Well, I'd like to think I could do better.
Sounds to me, Lawrence, like you need a SimRig sponsor out there that tells you only drive that for races like these. But the floor is yours. Anybody you'd like to thank as you pick up a third place finish here at Tsukuba?
Yeah, I mean, you guys always do a great job. I don't envy you tonight because there wasn't a hell of a lot of action on track there. But everybody was driving, to the maximum of their ability. And when they did make a mistake, it was very evident, and it cost a lot of time. But no, massive shout out to everybody who supports my streams, supports my YouTube channel, subscribes and all that. And just a reminder to everyone to go and enjoy sim racing, whatever that means. If it means watching someone else, if it means hopping in Discord and talking about sim racing, or if it means hopping on a shooter with some people who also sim race, just enjoy the sim racing community. That's probably the main thing, because a lot of people forget to enjoy sim racing and they take it maybe a little bit too seriously, or their expectations are incorrect. So just, find something this week to enjoy it.
Well, enjoyment is the name of the game of everything, and if you don't enjoy it, what are you doing? Lawrence de Sosa there with some wise words. Third position overall, joining us there with a fantastic bit of driving out there overall. But that is going to bring us to a close then here from the Tsukuba circuit, and it ends the Japanese leg of this brilliant RTA Virtual Motorsport Championship. Want to give a massive thanks, though, to all of the equipment that is used to get everything done here with us at the Global SimRacing Channel, and especially thanks to June Lalonde. You can catch her music on Bandcamp if you haven't already, and it's some of the music that you hear when you're waiting for a stream to start. From the crew here, of course, from Craig, from Joe, and from Dougie, it has been an incredible showcase of racing action. You can always catch us on our socials if you haven't already. Our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram is all there. And make sure to go over to our merchandise store, gsrc.storeenvy.com. We've got all sorts of events coming up on your screen, but in terms of what is next for us, it is going to be the Rolling Thunder Money Race. That will be next in the back of the mind. That will be 2 days from now, July 20th, and that will be 8:15 Eastern. Make sure that you jump in on that. Next time you are with us here with this RTA Virtual Motorsports Championship, round 6 of 8 will take its showcase, and it will be at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And that will be one of those circuits where the middle sector of the lap, I think, will just indicate who has got it and who has not. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you in Lexington, Ohio.